annually. And then you decided to build an entire city. So I want to understand how you sized up the opportunity and how you measured the risk. So what made you go for it?
Well, first of all, I started with 2 houses on one plot. Then it moved to 8, 12, 16, and then 32. Today, my company can boldly say that we produce maybe 180 homes in 2 years. But for me, it's not such an achievement because I can still see a gap that needs to be bridged. And hence, that's what maybe you touch bases on some of these opportunities that is coming across Africa in development. Africa hasn't been developed in the past 200 years to its capacity. And we, the developers, private sectors, government, and the people even in the country as citizens, haven't actually sat back and asked yourself the question, why are we not moving so fast? Why is every other country being developed? They also haven't looked at other countries that has been developed, such as Dubai and Singapore. These are the 2 countries that has been developed in 1 century. So you're talking between 60 to 40 years. It's happened in our lifetime. And when you go after the things that they did to develop their countries, for me to want to move from building 150 homes to go into a city, it's not because I just want to increase my numbers. It's because I want to build a country. It's because I want to build a nation. I looked at those people and what were the things that they did? One of the major things that these countries did was that they introduced industrialization, which Africans have been lacking for a very long time. Now, when I say industrialization, I live in a country where I import everything to finish my houses. It takes me 3 months for them to manufacture it. Then after, it takes me another month for them to ship it. Then after it gets here, it takes me 50% of the value that I invested in Europe to get it out and send it to the site before I put it on the building. So even if I say I'm going to build 150 homes, to go through this process, and we know that we have deficits of 45 million homes in Africa, that is going to take us 1,000 years. If we don't start to build our own industrial platforms. The industrial platforms that is going to stop us from having to go all the way to Europe and buy a door and buy a lock and buy this and come back home and fit it. When we can just bring the same people here to do the same thing. In fact, one of the people here, Alessandro, who is my very good friend, and he owns Chateau, and I met him the first time I met him. Yes, we did our business and we spent close to $1 million, but I said to him, Alessandro, this is not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be buying things from you from Europe. I want to bring you to Africa with me and sit on my industrial platform. I want to invest with you so we can supply African countries for these things. They can get it in 8 days. They can get it in 10 days. The reason why Europe is developing so fast is because when you want a door, the next day is at your doorstep. Anything you want, the next day is at your doorstep. So we Africans, we have to wait for 3 months to get a door to our doorstep. And we want to develop our country without facing these issues. We really need to address these issues. We Africans, and I don't blame the government and I don't blame the citizens. I don't blame myself because I don't believe in excuses, but I believe in doing. This needs to be done. We need to convince our partners, our suppliers, our manufacturers who we're dealing with to come to Africa with us. They have to sit on our industrial platforms. We need to find ways to build energy. The rate of energy in Africa is 13%. How are we going to build it? We need it to go to 50%. We need to invest in energy so industrialization can create room for pioneering. Now we're talking about mass housing. I've already done the numbers, and I did it so well that, you know, JLL is one of the people that I work with and other companies. But when I sat behind my own closed doors and decided to do these numbers for affordable housing, you are building a home for someone for $20,000, calling it affordable, that they will never get the money for you. 1 million people in one country cannot afford to give you $20,000 because they have the minimum wage, a minimum wage that finishes before the end of the month. How are they going to pay their mortgage? We have a problem. Even the financial systems, because for me to have grown this far in my business is because I didn't have to think in the beginning that I needed the bank to support me to grow. I realized that they just couldn't do it. I didn't have to think that I needed the government to support me to grow. I just realized that they couldn't do it. If they haven't done it for the country, how are they going to do it for me? I feel like we Africans are the future, that we are going to develop our own country by thinking and having a positive way of thinking, bringing people from outside to join us to develop our country, because the history of every country in this world that has been developed brought people from outside. Even Dubai, they brought the Pakistanis, they brought different people to work, to build Dubai. And then they had the biggest industrial platform, which is Sharjah. You can confirm yourself. Today, it's the biggest industrial free zone platform in the world. They had to build their own glasses, manufacture their own glasses, manufacture their own Alukobon, and it was 2 minutes drive away from Dubai. You wonder why those buildings were springing up so fast. Without these things, I think we have an issue. And I couldn't have any stage to address some of this. It might sound a little bit political, it might sound a little bit governmental, a little bit business, but it's the truth. That until we start to have this positive mind of developing our nation, our people, and thinking deep down the solution of the problem, which is the root of what is stopping our development, Africa's development still will be stagnant. And I think it's our time. The world is looking at us. We are the last continent to be developed, and we're going into the golden age. I believe that we all stand a great opportunity with the people who have come from outside, the people internal, people around, people from other places in on this continent. We all stand a great chance to build opportunities out of this and build our country and build our nation.
Thank you so much, Kwame. Thank you very much.